We have just seen an impressive example of a service made possible by the capacities of 5G. But there was just one example. There is so much more possible. And really, believe me, 5G is an example and has capabilities we really can't think of. 4G already really got a shift in society with some new some new possibilities for us, like streaming services and ever on. And now we are up to 5G with some very new services that are built on it. Companies and developers will integrate it into their new business models, and we will see what it is. So this is exactly what we at Deutsche Telekom want to promote, and we want to find out how. We have a great discussion now following and led by Axel Menneking. He is Vice President, Startup and Incubation and Venturing at Hubraum. And he's here and he's got 3 guests, but he will introduce a guest himself. But before we see Axel, we're going to watch a video.
Telecom for Developers, 5G Early Access Program. 5G networks will serve as the next platforms to enable new use cases and enhance customer experiences of existing ones. 5G is now delivering on its promise, turning from static into dynamic networks. Capabilities are exposed through 5G APIs for the first time. It can be validated and tested in the 5G testbed at Hubraum, Berlin. Deutsche Telekom is following an open innovation approach to build API products. Therefore, we explore market demands. We count on structured developer feedback. Our research team accompanies the developers through the testing phase. And we listen to the voice of the customer for continuous improvement. From November 2021 until January 2022, first developers were invited to test the first 5G APIs, configuring key functions of 5G networks, bandwidth and latency. APIs were tested in a live network with heavy loads against current best efforts. In the future, APIs will be accessed through our Telecom for Developers portal. Easy developer access and account management. Developers benefit from structured documentations. Pioneer with us and create and test new business opportunities on our 5G testbed in close to real-life testing conditions.
Hello everybody, and what a great video. I love it. Hello everybody here at MWC and everyone in the live stream. I'm dealing with open innovation at Deutsche Telekom, and I was dreaming of this moment since the first 5G standard was announced. Because 5G is a complete new shampoo. It will enable us to be an open telco. It will enable us and accelerate our journey from a telco to a telco as a platform to a digital telco. So what do I mean by this? With 5G, network tech and cloud tech merge. So our networks become more like IT networks. And that is a huge opportunity for developers and also for us as Deutsche Telekom. Because by that, we will become part of the global API economy, and the 5G network may become the next large global developer platform. And that means transformation. And we want to do this transformation together with you. We invite you to become part of our next chapter in our company. So I'm super proud and excited today to announce and to invite you to our 5G Early Access Developer Program. We will provide you with a portfolio of 5G APIs and a physical standalone 5G testbed to build with us the next generation of use cases and business models. And we call out for you, cloud players, for you, corporates, and for you developers to become part and be the first with us on this journey. But now, without further ado, I'd like to call our moderator on stage, Mario, developer evangelist at Hubraum and Deutsche Telekom, for the next panel session. Mario, please join me.
Thanks, Axel, for the warm words. As you said, I'm a developer evangelist. What does this mean? I'm an engineer by heart and trying to get also the change we were talking about across into Hubraum and Telekom and all. But I can't do this alone. So that's why I'm asking you, Rolf, to also come to the stage just next to me. And then we also have Julian at the end of the table. Thanks, everyone. So welcome to the stage also from my side again. I'm just going to start with you directly, Rolf. You're the SVP of Telecom Global Carrier. How do you do the API transformation?
Well, the transformation for us is extremely important because we are, of course, providing all the services that are needed for global connectivity, be it voice, be it roaming, be it access. And APIs are, of course, the new world to connect developers to our international business. And therefore, we are extremely excited to be part of this journey together with Hubraum and also together with the T-Labs as collaboration partners.
But let me be blunt and ask why. What is the benefit for Telecom to do this? Why would we want to do this?
Well, you know, we are working as an aggregator for the group, providing international services in every corner of the world. Mm-hmm. And this is independent from the service itself. It's really about the experience that we want to provide for B2B customers, for consumer customers in all the telcos that we have. And we also have a one-stop shop, not only for the inbound, but also for everybody who needs connectivity within Deutsche Telekom. And in these cases, of course, we also want to provide the full stack of services, not only in this area of voice, what we sometimes call legacy services, but also in the new world. What you have seen in the press conference of Claudia Nehmert just a couple of minutes before, that you can use as a cameraman the 5G network slicing to provide really transmission. This we also want to provide, of course, worldwide, that this cameraman, if he's traveling to New York, he has the same service there. Or the use case of automated driving or valet parking that we have seen. Also, this cannot be just a domestic use case. It also should be an international use case as well.
Thanks for this one. Let me go over to you, Axel. You are the head of Hubraum, but how can Hubraum help making this transition happening?
Well, the role of Hubraum is to build the bridge between Deutsche Telekom and the developer ecosystem. And we do everything that is needed to make developers and Deutsche Telekom more successful. So by providing not only the infrastructure, the software, the developer toolchain, but also connecting the people, the know-how within our company, within the developer ecosystem. That is how we facilitate and accelerate to the best of both parties, because in the end, we want to make both more successful.
Nice. So is there somebody specifically you're looking for in our early access programs?
So as said, we're looking for cloud players, for corporates, for developers who are active in areas where mostly low latency and high bandwidth at a guaranteed quality is needed. So to say, what slicing is all about. Yeah? And we invite those to join us and work with us, not only virtually, but also physically in our test bed in Berlin.
So about this test bed, like, have we had use cases on it already?
Yes, we already worked with a handful of developers, plus, as you mentioned, large corporates like BMW, RTL. And the results have been more than exciting, tremendous, because it shows that we are just scratching the surface of what is possible for both parties being together on that journey to this next era of telco operators.
Nice, thanks. Maybe this is also a great segue to you, Julian. Can you hold a note?
Can I hold a note? I suppose, kind of, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
And do you think you can also do the same thing over 5G or SA networks?
Yes, I do think so. So to introduce ourselves, we're at Open Sesame. We're doing a lot of work around synchronizing a number of devices so people can have deeply human-centered experiences together, what Claudia was referring to earlier. What we did, working with Axel, was test how SyncStage could perform over the infrastructure, looking at that low latency API, and it performed really phenomenally. And it's something that quality of service, that ability, is something you can only get working these 5G APIs.
So have you experimented with it on our testbed already? And like, have you had some learnings from there?
Yeah. I mean, in our particular use case, when you're looking to sync people together, you know you're going to get congestion between about 6 p.m. and 12 midnight. So that desire to create a consistent, reliable quality of service between those devices is critical. So we tested running off the 5G core, backend core, in the testbed, and it performed really, really well. It's a perfect use case for it.
Nice. So maybe, Rolf, I go back to you. If you're hearing those experiments and the results of the experimentation, does this bring value to you?
Well, definitely, but I think even more important is that we learn from developers that we can bring more value to them. Because if I look into my business, of course, we are used to work a lot with other carriers. If you look around, Orange is here, all the big carriers are here. So we are used to work with the other carriers to provide the international services. And we are, of course, also used to provide services for the B2B2X business quite a lot on the IP side. And we are also used to work directly for enterprise customers and also for consumer customers. But we also need to learn a lot from the developers. What are their needs if we are now exposing network functionalities to them? Yeah, and there's the big question, what is the best channel to reach them? Yeah, how are our services perceived? So I see myself very much together, of course, with the help of the T-Labs, also in a learning journey, yeah, how to get there and how to always improve. Because this is what we do in the international business. Everything that we're providing locally, we also want to provide on an international basis, in an international field. And this is always a change, always continuation, new services, because many of the services that we see today have just been innovations, called innovations 3, 4, 5 years ago, and now we are selling this, like, for example, SD-WAN underlay and other services. And many services that we have are based on APIs. So we have to really embrace APIs to make international connectivity not only happen today, but also in the future.
Yeah. And if I may add to that, what I have experienced over the last years working with the developer ecosystem, the speed, the creativity, and the number of innovation is so much bigger that we can create within our own company. So there is no other way to build that bridge. Because if you look at the hyperscalers, the cloud players we know, their innovation funnel is basically coming from that developer ecosystem. And for this, now finally, with 5G, we are able internationally to provide these opportunities and to join forces and kind of like mimic a bit the model that is known by the cloud hyperscalers for many years. So I'm more than excited.
Yeah, and me as an engineer by heart, right, I really like to hear those kind of things. It makes me really happy to see like how we can develop things together. So, Julian, obviously I have to ask you, no, please don't sing again. It was fine, thank you. Would you recommend for somebody else who has a similar idea with 5G SA networks, would you recommend them to apply to our program?
Yeah, yes, I definitely would. I think, as a developer, I think the guys reinforced it. You're working very, very quickly. You're iterating very quickly. I think it's the right environment. Normally you think big corporate, are they going to be able to innovate quickly? But I think that environment is perfect for experimentation, and they're willing partners. So yeah, I would. Yeah.
And Julian and his team, they are based in abroad. Yeah. So we flew you in. Yeah. We flew the mentors, the experts in.
Yep.
So it's like very focused and intense. On the other hand, for both sides. So maybe you elaborate a bit on that. How you felt about this?
Yeah, I think one thing about COVID is you can run remote, but there's nothing really like the energy you get when you are in the room iterating together. But you're not just iterating with your team, you're iterating with telecom at the same time. You can't really get that if I'm in Los Angeles. So it's better when we're all in the room working together. It was a good partnership. Yeah.
Nice. This is great to hear, and that's also what we're looking for. Like, come with your ideas to our ecosystem, and then we can build upon it. Have we received any feedback which would result in us changing our ecosystem already? Like, maybe this is a question to the overall round.
Well, I think a feedback that we at least always have is that agility is key in this market, and that we have to be fast, that we have to move forward, that we really see how can we embrace innovations with a very high speed. And therefore, I'm happy that we have great projects, that we have this direct feedback from the developers. Julian, you told me you just flew in from the Valley, where, of course, it's not only hyperscalers, but so many developers are there. So it's great also to have the feedback from this community in the end, because we are learning now how to really bring innovations to the market with an incredible high speed. And we see that it's easy to bypass big carriers like Deutsche Telekom if we are not well aligned, if we don't have really the feedback from the customer. We talk about exciting the customers, embracing the customers, but this only works with a very direct connection to this community.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I think the term developers use is whenever you're using an API, you want to get straight to dopamine as quickly as possible. So that basically means how quickly can I use it? Is it going to serve the purpose? And so I think that's one thing that would be good to talk about here is the API development was quick to use. And so that means you can iterate quickly, as well as the collaborative aspects. So yeah, both aspects really work well for developers coming into this ecosystem. Yeah.
But even beyond like the development part, I feel that you also learned a lot of to develop your business model. Yeah,
Yes.
You started with let me say online karaoke, which is syncing voices is super important.
Yeah.
But you develop beyond now on the way to the metaverse, and I feel that also this gave you a lot of insights. What is possible in combination of next generation 5G, network slicing, and metaverse use cases? So maybe you elaborate on this also a bit.
Yeah. It's a great point, Axel. So yeah, the problem we've solved around audio low latency, yes, you might have been on a video call now and someone's gone, and then they left, and we solved that. But it's going to be incredibly important, critical as air to anything that happens in the metaverse. Imagine being 7 different avatars and being completely inhospitable. So the core tech that we innovated on today is going to be the core tech, the audio infrastructure for the metaverse, paramount to it. But we wouldn't have got there without doing the stuff we've done. So yeah.
Yeah, but this is where we can collaborate, because frozen pictures are belonging to the past if we cut out the middleman. Yeah?
Yep.
If you really connect directly to our services, and we had now lengthy intermediate services,
Exactly.
So this is where can support. Yeah?
Exactly.
Which is great to hear. And I'm always curious, do you know what steps we need to take in order to get there? Is there something on the roadmap already planned in this direction?
Well, from my perspective, it's very much that we really have this platform that T-Labs and Huprom already have built, that we always look how can we still improve. We also look for, of course, collaboration with our colleagues in the US, with T-Mobile US, who also have great experience there, so we join forces. And then, of course, get one API in place after the other with very good feedback, or also the feedback that we need to improve.
Yeah. And you mentioned it, Wolf. I think to us it's also a lot about now listening and learning. Because developers in this new API economy, they are the kingmakers. They kind of like decide what are the best developer platforms, which are the suppliers we want to engage with because it's easy, because it's great tech, it's working. Yeah?
Yeah.
So this listening and learning is also, like, to me, Mario, a super important step. And for this, this 5G Early Access program is perfect for us. But as you said, Julian, it's also great to you because you get access to something that is not available to anyone yet. So you have a real, like, let me say, advantage in go-to-market, thinking about like the next generation of business models ahead.
Exactly. And then to provide the developer context here, the average app today has 32 APIs in it. So now Deutsche Telekom are becoming part of that, the way that we develop, with something that is incredibly unique within that. It doesn't exist out of the other 31. And so do bear that in mind if you're thinking about this. It's one other very powerful tool in your tool set to see what is then possible, you know. So.
Yeah, nice. So like also going back to Axel's question of like, we are here for learning, right? I would like to take the last 6 minutes we have of our panel session to also ask questions to the audience if you have questions. So now it's your time to shine. If you have any questions for our 3 candidates here, please raise your hands and I'll try to hear it and repeat it loudly. There is silence in the audience. So there's one, please. Oh, there's actually a microphone coming. I'm sorry.
By the way, great presentation, guys, because I think if you think about it, 5G is a developer platform, and I think you guys are probably the first carrier or telco to realize that potential. But I'm hearing, you know, whether it's T-Mobile, Verizon, in India, Reliance, all of the major carriers are all working on building these API API gateways for developers to take advantage. Now, a lot of them are staying within what I call the OSS, BSS realm, and some are talking about the interactions within the control plane. Where do you guys fall in that?
Axel.
So what I mentioned by like this technology force of telco networks and cloud merging, that of course has kicked off a movement. I would not say a race, but really a new energy in the whole telco ecosystem. Now, coming to your question, there will be another like development, and that is like telcos will become more open and more collaborative. And as mentioned before, I guess also in Claudia's speech about Camara, yeah, and you may also elaborate a bit about that, Wolf. Telcos will think beyond their original network footprint by joining forces, by opening up, creating open source APIs, and Rolf's network carrier connectivity business will develop into a next evolution. Maybe you talk about like how you want to combine this, like wholesale plus API. Yeah?
Well, first of all, of course, you're right. Yeah, all carriers today, they are fragmented. They have all their own footprint. If we say we are international, it's not true. We are regional. So we have to connect, build a joint network in the end, what we normally call the network of networks. Yeah? And this is also the task of a global carrier unit that I'm running, yeah, that you can buy these services from others, so you have end-to-end feeling. Like on roaming today, if you're here as a German customer or US citizen, you don't feel that you're in Spain. You have still the same roaming service in place. And this, of course, we want also to adopt to these services. And you mentioned the Camara Alliance. This, of course, then a great alliance with all the people, all the stakeholders in the API business, where we can collaborate, where we can connect, and really ensure that the services we have on a domestic place also work internationally. And this is a big step because we are used, for example, the roaming field. In the past, it was best effort approach. So the service you could really have here, maybe in Barcelona, was based on the quality the network in Spain is providing. In the future, we have to ensure that it's the same service quality that we provide also in Germany or within our footprint. So it's really a tough journey, but exactly what you were asking, it's going and driving us into this direction of strong collaboration, of high quality, and internally a huge automation as well, because we cannot wait until manual processes are fixed. Everything needs to be automized.
And to me, the most exciting stuff is that we are not bound anymore to our local infrastructure footprint. Basically, we're creating a over-the-top model, but a collaborative over-the-top model in between the telco operators to provide what you said, Rolf, as quality of service across the whole globe, as we do right now with the roaming agreements, for example, today.
Yeah.
Nice, thank you. We have 1 minute and 50 left. Maybe another question is popping up. Thank you so much.
Question is it possible to use this 5G Open API in use cases that are in the street? It's like most of the network slicing use cases are focused in B2B startups, mostly that are in controlled environments like the industry. So what I'm saying is, for example, if there's one use case that I want to stream from the street and I need that priority to have a reliable connection and offer that good quality experience, are you going to apply this 5G Open API in these use cases?
Maybe I can just take this question directly. This is a great use case, and I ask you to apply to our early access program because this is exactly what we are looking for. If you have a use case in your mind where you would be using the 5G APIs, please fill out the form and we come back to you, because you could test it out right now. In our offices in Berlin, we have the testbed enabled, and you can come to us once a month for a week. We open it up. You come there, experiment with your software, with your use case, and then have found out what would be the future of 5G SA, even before it happens. And with this one, I have to say, I also have to now stop the session and thank everybody on the stage and also in the audience and in the streams and everybody else. If you happen to be at the MWC, please come over to our booth and we can talk more about applying for our 5G Early Access program, Hubraum, telcos, and also what startups do. Thank you, everyone.